organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Tonight on Daily Iowan TV, the search for a new University of Iowa president is on. But who's leading the search? Find out next.
And 24 hours of dancing. Meet the people who keep Dance Marathon awake and dancing.
And in sports, the Iowa baseball team kicks off their 2015 season with Media Day.
All this coming your way next.
You're watching Daily Iowan TV. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Christian Hahn.
And I'm Blake Jorgensen. The Board of Regents is one step closer to finding out who the new University of Iowa president will be. The board announced the head of its presidential search committee. UI Vice President for Medical Affairs Jean Robillard will lead the search to find a president to succeed Sally Mason. Robillard oversees UI Healthcare and formerly served as Dean of the Carver College of Medicine. The regents will further discuss the search process for the next president at their Thursday meeting in Cedar Falls.
About 9 million students could benefit from President Obama's proposed plan for 2 free years of community college. President Obama officially announced his proposal during the State of the Union this year. Anyone working towards a degree is eligible as long as they keep a C+ average. Reporter Fabiola Sanchez caught up with Waterloo's Hawkeye Community College Vice President Kathleen Flynn to see how the plan would impact the school.
Is going to have to be something that's approved by Congress as well as our state legislature, because there's an element there of state funding. So I don't see it happening in the foreseeable future. If it does, we would welcome that. But right now, it's just kind of a wait and see what develops next.
Hawkeye Community College is one of thousands of community colleges across the country who could be affected by President Obama's plan.
A graduate program could soon be coming to the UI. Wednesday, the Board of Regents will decide whether to back a Business Analytics and Information Systems Master Program. The graduate degree would reflect growing interest and demand for business analytics locally and nationwide. The program would begin with an expected 20 students and is estimated to cost nearly $220,000.
This past December, students taking the ACT college entrance exam received some extra practice that they didn't ask for. That's because 195 high school students attending Johnston High School received a letter from the ACT organization saying their results never arrived at the Iowa City headquarters. An ACT spokesperson says losing test answers is extremely rare.
The Iowa Memorial Union was packed with career-minded students today. The main lounge hosted College of Engineering Career Fair, where students got to meet over 100 organizations to discuss full-time, co-op, and internship opportunities in engineering fields. The fair's attendance has increased 40% in the last 5 years, bringing more companies to the fair in search of potential employees, meaning more opportunities for students. The next career fair will be Wednesday, February 25th at the IMU Main Lounge in the second floor ballroom.
Stay with us. Next, we take a closer look into the life of a dance marathon morale captain.
And your latest in Hawkeye sports.
Well, Blake, I don't know about you, but it was rather slushy today. Kind of hard to get to class, huh?
Yeah, it was rough out there. I'm ready for it all to be gone, for sure.
Absolutely, me too. Let's toss it over to Tanner Sigworth, who's standing by in the weather studio. Tanner?
Guys, you're right. You actually needed boots walking to class today, really. It was an absolute mess. Let's take a look at what it looked like outside earlier today. It was wet, it was slushy, the sun pelting down, melting all that snow we accumulated over the weekend. I bet your shoes soaked all the way through walking to class like mine did. Now remember, we are on a snow emergency all throughout the night until tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. So those who are parking on the street, be careful where you're parking. They need to get out there and clean those streets, because guess what? We got more snow on the way. Looking ahead to tomorrow, there is a chance of snow in the afternoon. The morning starting out at about 12 degrees, overcast skies, but in the afternoon, the temp's gonna be about 13 degrees with a 40% chance of snow. Shouldn't get above an inch of snow if it does snow tomorrow. Into the nighttime, it is dropping down to 13 degrees. It could get down to -10 overnight. Now looking ahead to your extended forecast, Wednesday and Thursday are still going to be looking pretty cold, but this weekend's going to start to warm up. It's looking to be about 34 degrees and partly cloudy on Friday, and could get up to 38 degrees on Saturday. Sunday, there is a chance of snow and about 30 degrees. And then Monday, those temps are going to dip back down. It should get down to around 9 degrees for your low on Monday. So that's all I have from the weather studio. Back to Blake and Christian at the desk.
All right, thanks, Tanner. We're only a few days away from the big dance marathon event, but some students have been preparing all year long. Reporter Michelle Nago talked to morale captains to find out how they've been training for the big day.
Jess Kennan is graduating from the University of Iowa this May, but before she does, she's going to dance for the kids one last time.
On leadership, you really realize that dance marathon is all year round. It's 365 days.
She's been a dancer before, but this year she leads Team Dylan.
And he is 20 years old. He is majoring in aerospace engineering and has been to NASA and is just so smart and so passionate.
Jess and the 48 other UI students were chosen as morale captains last March, and their work started right away.
And throughout the year, they're responsible for recruiting as many new dancers as they can and really just getting them engaged with dance marathon events, as well as give them any tips and help with fundraising that they can.
Morale captains meet every week to come up with ways to make their passion contagious. Some of their family events include mini dance marathons around the community. Here's a look at one from Iowa City West High School.
I just try to immerse myself as much as I can, go to as much as I can, and do as much as I can.
Even though it's her last year as a student,
I know even as an alumni, I'll come back for the big event and I'll give my support.
her heart will always be tinted lime green. Reporting in Iowa City, Michelle Nago, Daily Iowan TV.
The famous book To Kill a Mockingbird now has a sequel. Author Harper Lee announced today that she is releasing a sequel on July 14th called Go Set a Watchman. The book is about the main character Scout and her jump into adulthood. Lee finished the book in the 1950s before she wrote To Kill a Mockingbird, but she set the project aside. This is only Lee's second novel. To Kill a Mockingbird was released over 50 years ago.
As 2016 elections approach, there's one UI grad whose focus is on knocking down barriers for women in politics. On January 15th, Cedar Rapids City Councilor Monica Vernon announced she will run for the 2016 Democratic nomination for the 1st Congressional District seat again. Vernon spoke with Daily Iowan Editor-in-Chief Jordan Ryland to address those barriers. Vernon said she has received support from people of both genders and hopes gender bias is becoming less of an issue. Make sure to stay updated with 2016 political coverage only with the Daily Iowan.
The terrorist group ISIS is taking aim at lives again. Today, video released appears to show the terrorists burning a Jordanian pilot alive. The pilot, Moad Al-Kazazba, was held hostage after he ejected from crashing his plane during U.S. airstrikes on December 24th. Jordanian officials at one point suggested exchanging the pilot for another imprisoned jihadist woman.
Well, Christian, a big day in Iowa sports as Coach Heller and Coach Brands talk to the media.
Absolutely, Blake. Now let's toss it over to the sports studio where Laura Belanda and Taylor Bartz are standing by. Ladies?
Thanks, guys. A full show tonight as there was a lot happening in Hawkeye sports.
We start tonight with Iowa baseball as Coach Heller and players address the media. The squad is just 10 days out from traveling down south to start their 2015 season.
The Hawks are coming off a 30-win season that included a win in the Big Ten tournament under the helm of now second-year head coach Rick Heller.
It was last season's success that gives the Hawks a much-needed boost of excitement heading into competition.
Well, expectations are high. We won 30 games last year, and that's the most since I've been here, and we got to repeat that. We got to come out with the same fire, same desire to get back to the Big Ten tournament, and from there on make it regional, and from there on make it to Omaha. But I think we got the right people to do it.
While most of their practice time was held in their indoor facility, Mother Nature has allowed the team to spend some time outdoors, something Heller said will help them later.
But we had full practices where we were able to get a lot of work done. The outfielders seen a ton of fly balls. I would say the outfielders have been out 6 times fielding fly balls, so that's going to be big going to Florida. A lot of times they haven't been outside at all, and it's a big challenge to read the ball, but they'll be fine. I'm really happy that we were able to get out.
Iowa will kick off their season by traveling to Port Charlotte, Florida on March 13th to take on Kansas State, a team that swept them in all 3 games last season.
The Hawkeye men's gymnastics squad hosted Oklahoma and Ohio State over the weekend. The Hawks were able to beat out Ohio State.
But Oklahoma was too much for the Gym Hawks. Nicole Ray has the highlights.
The number 9 University of Iowa men's gymnastics team held their first tri-meet this past Sunday at Carver Hawkeye Arena. The team dominated against number 6 ranked Ohio State, but fell to number 1 Oklahoma to take second place. The Hawks started off strong on the floor event, with junior Jack Boyle leading the team with a 14.7 score for 7th place, followed by Cyrus Dobre-Mofed, who came in 9th with a 14.45. The team started their 2015 season with a 4th place finish at the Windy City Invitational, followed by a victory against number 18 UIC at home. Jack Boyle was named co-Big Ten Gymnast of the Week after winning both the floor and rings events and grabbing 2nd place on parallel bars. Boyle led the Hawkeyes in the rings event in this meet as well, finishing a runner-up with a 15.3, falling to Michael Squires of Oklahoma. Junior Matt Luchton followed Boyle in 4th place with a score of 15.05. The rings event was the team's best of the day with a total score of 74.6. After just 3 events, the Hawks pulled ahead of Ohio State into 2nd place. Pressure set in as the team struggled with their final event of high bars, which head coach J.D. Reeves said is uncharacteristic of his team. Dobre-Mofed led the way, tying for 3rd with a 14.65, while Del Vecchio Orozco set a new career high of 14.35. It was enough, though, giving Iowa a total score of 428.45, with Ohio State falling short, scoring 422.6, and Oklahoma leading the meet with 440.85. After this win, both confidence and rankings will be boosted as Jack Boyle and the rest of the Hawkeyes are set for a meet against Illinois this Saturday at 4 p.m. This is Nicole Ray for Daily Iowan TV Sports.
It was Tom Brands and the Iowa wrestling team that talked to the media today after posting a huge 23-12 win over the number 1 ranked Minnesota Golden Gophers. Bobby Telford explains what it was like to get the win.
Parties you've been to before in high school and college. Sometimes just going there and fun, terrorize. Get in and out, ruin everything you can, have a blast, and then go home. You know what I mean? That's kind of what we're talking about going on to Minnesota. It's not our house. Go out there, trash it, leave it in shambles, and go back to our house where it's nice, clean bed, and go to sleep.
Another week and another test for this powerful Hawkeye group as they will be wrestling the number 5 ranked team in the country, Penn State, on Sunday, and it's a reunion for one Hawkeye as Josh Jeva, a Pennsylvania native, will have lots of family there to watch.
It's exciting. I've just telling another reporter that in the past, wrestled at Lehigh last year, came up short. Wrestled at Rutgers this year, came up short. So I'd like to put on a show for my family, put a lot of points on the board and get a W, get a big W, and maybe put some guys away.
Coach Brands also had something to say about wrestling the Nittany Lions.
I know that it's another test on the road, and everybody talks about Penn State might be a little bit down here or there, but we got to be ready for that for sure.
Senior point guard Sam Logic is being listed with some of the greatest in women's college basketball as she was just put on the Don Staley Award watch list.
Logic is one of 16 student athletes to be named on the list. The Don Staley Award is given to the most outstanding collegiate guard in the country, and the winner will be announced during a ceremony in mid-April. That's it for tonight's show, but tomorrow we hear from an Iowa Hawkeye superfan.
While also previewing the Iowa basketball team as they head up north to take on fellow Big Ten foe Michigan, and we'll also take a look at junior Anthony Clemens. Christian and Blake, back to you.
Before we go, Fargo, North Dakota is under invasion by jackrabbits. Jackrabbits the size of small dogs are running rampant around Fargo.
One resident said there are often 40 or 50 rabbits in her backyard at a time. City Pest Control is unable to do anything because they are wild animals. That's all we have on Daily Iowan TV. Make sure to join us tomorrow at the same time.
And stay up to date with breaking news at dailyiowan.com. Thanks for joining us.
Have a great night.
Can't pick up a copy of the Daily Iowan? Are you worried about how you're going to find out about the latest news in Iowa City and the University of Iowa? Well, look no further. You can download the Daily Iowan mobile app on your iPhone for the area's best news coverage. And you can also read and watch us on your iPad. You can always find current and past Daily Iowan stories at dailyiowan.com. The Daily Iowan is now on TV, online, and in your pocket. If it happens, it's news to us. Are you worried about how you're going to find out about the latest news in Iowa City and the University of Iowa? Well, look no further. You can download the Daily Iowan mobile app on your iPhone for the area's best news coverage. And you can also read and watch us on your iPad. You can always find current and past Daily Iowan stories at dailyiowan.com.